The Republic Act 12316 was approved on March 25 and published by the official gazette on the same day. Therefore, it would have been effective on April 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5 days, Mr. Chairman. This should have already been first recommended by DBCC, the Energy Department, and the President should have already suspended. He has all the powers granted by Congress. And we are saying that any delay, Mr. Chairman, will make our people suffer, especially the transport sectors and everybody, because of the rise of commodity prices. So I'd like to know, did we not consider this, DOE, DBCC, and the Office of the President, that we are already 5 days not yet suspended when it could have been done April 9 for our people, Mr. Chairman? The DOE, the DBCC, and the Office of the President, we are holding all of you accountable for the suffering of the Filipino people, which is now 5 days. Can you imagine lifting 3 pesos LPG, lifting gasoline? Gasoline now is 160 to 170 per liter. I mean, diesel, 160 to 70, 110 to 120 gasoline. May we know?
We call on our member of the minority to do his interpellation. We now call on the Honorable Antonio Tonchi Tino of ACT Teachers Party List. Go ahead, Tonchi. You have 5 minutes.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Well, una, yung tungkol dito sa replacement cost. So, pinaliwanag po nung taga-oil industry yung konsepto ng replacement cost. Pero kanina kausap ko po yung dating colleague natin, si Congressman Arnel. Congressman Arnel, ginagamit din ba itong replacement cost sa inyong industriya, LPG?
Well, Mr. Chair, the difference from the diesel and gasoline with LPG is we only move our price every month. It is based on the pronounced announcement of Saudi Aramco. There is a slight difference these past 2 months because of the conflict. That dati-rati yung premium, which is the shipping cost, it's a 1-year contract yan eh. It doesn't change for the whole year. Only we call it CP or contract price of LPG, which Saudi Aramco will be the one announcing it. Yun lang ang nagbabago. Sa ngayon, ang kagandahan, maybe because we have a regulation in terms of permits and facility right now in LPG, the Department of Energy can inspect, can mandate us to submit inventory and even submit the BL, the bill of lading of our incoming vessel, for them to give us the approval for us to transact with the BIR and customs. So siguro yun ang difference namin at mas madaling i-monitor yung aming pricing. Pagdating kasi sa every month, isa lang ang sinusundan namin computation eh.
Okay. Pero yun nga, simpleng sagot, nag-a-apply ba yung replacement cost pricing sa LPG sector?
Well, we don't call it replacement pricing or replacement cost. Ang sa amin lang, if we have, ito naman, diretsahan, pagka kami inabutan ng mataas na inventaryo at bumaba ang presyo next month, risk namin yon.
Ayun. So, in other words,
pagka tumaas naman, gain namin yon. Basically, ganun lang naman.
So, ang punto po, yung sa oil, replacement cost ang model, pero sa LPG, hindi. So, sinabi nila, pagka binili nila ng mataas, pero biglang bumaba ang presyo, risk, sabi mo, risk yun. Kailangan ibenta nyo mas mababa. Tama po ba?
Tama yun, because we have to reflect the CP price that the Saudi Aramco will be announcing every end of the month. That will carry the next month's price.
So, risk nila yon. Sila ang kakarga kung may loss, tapos babawi na lang sa susunod. Tama po ba?
Tama yun.
Okay. So, una, yun po ang malinaw. No? Hindi po universal itong model ng replacement cost. No? Hindi, so sabi, sa kaso ng LPG, Kung malugi sila dahil sa biglang movement ng presyo, karga nila. Hindi ipapasa, hindi i-advance na sisingilin sa publiko. Pangalawang punto, Mr. Chair, very revealing din yung sinabi nung si Mr. Kapinpin ng ng oil industry. Sabi nila, kasi kung historic cost ang susundin natin, magiging, ano yung sabi nyo, sir? Magulo yung, pakiulit, yung local...
Maaring magulo yung competition, meron uneven yung playing field. Pero Your Honor, sasabihin ko lang.
Well, yun lang po, magiging magulo yung competition. Ibig sabihin, pwede naman. Kaya lang, nagkasundo ang industriya na gamitin natin tong replacement cost model. No? Because, bentahe sa inyo, bentahe sa mga players, pero disbentahe naman sa publiko. Yun ang punto natin, Mr. Chair. So, again, I think yan ang isa sa mga hinaing ng publiko dito sa replacement cost model. Una, oil industry lang po ang gumagawa niyan. At pinakita po sa sektor ng LPG, ibang modelo. Essentially, historic cost. Parang ganon. Di po ba? Okay. So, yun po yung una. No? So, dapat siguro, tignan natin muli at ano ang pwede gawin ng DOE kaugnay nito. Pangalawang tanong ko po ay actually maybe sa Department of Energy, kaugnay po sa implementation ng State of National Emergency in relation to the Price Act. Kasi sabi po sa Price Act, kapag may State of National Emergency, automatic po ang price control sa mga basic commodities, and that includes LPG and kerosene. Hindi po ba? The automatic price freeze actually, no? Unless declared otherwise by the President. No? Ngayon, nag-declare po ng National Energy Emergency noong March 24 with EO 110. Tapos sa presentation nyo, kayo na rin nagsabi, ang biggest consumer price shock ay sa LPG nung buwan ng Abril. So ang tanong ko po, bakit po hindi umepekto yung automatic price freeze para sa LPG at kerosene? Di ba yun ang batas?
Can I ask Yusek Mario to answer?
Go ahead, Yusek. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr.
What happened to
Chair.
your glasses?
I'm allowed by the doctor.
Okay, go ahead. Answer the question, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much po, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, Honorable Tino. The implementation po kasi nung ating state of energy emergency, hindi kagad siya nag-trigger nung ating Price Act. So, yung pong impending na increase that started po nung April 1 kasi monthly yung adjustment ng prices ng LPG. Ayun po ang kaibahan ng sa kerosene na well-identified po kagad yung mga incidents na pwede siyang i-apply like yun po yung natural calamities. Thank you po.
Yun nga po ang gusto kong ilinaw nyo. Kasi sabi po sa batas, Section 6, automatic price control. Unless otherwise declared by the President, prices of basic necessities, that includes kerosene and LPG, in an area shall automatically be frozen at their prevailing prices or placed under automatic price control whenever, number 2, the area is declared under an emergency. Hindi po ba yung buong bansa diniklarang emergency? Pangalawa, una, malinaw, obvious naman. Ngayon, meron po bang declaration ng presidente na hindi isasama ang basic commodities, ang LPG at kerosene sa automatic price freeze? Meron po bang ganong deklarasyon ang presidente?
Thank you very much again, Mr. Chair and Honorable Tino. For my own understanding po, hindi po naglagay ng price freeze doon sa ating issuance, yung EO 110, with regards to price freeze.
Eh hindi po kailangang ilagay dahil may batas na eh. 'Di ba? Ang kailangang ilagay ng presidente kung ayaw niyang i-implement yung automatic price freeze, dapat sabihin niya ron na hindi mag-eepekto ang automatic price freeze para sa LPG at kerosene. Pero meron bang ganon? Wala po. Hindi, kayong sumagot. Meron bang exemption ang presidente?
As far as my understanding po doon sa issuance, wala po nakalagay.
Wala nga po. So bakit po hindi nyo pinapatupad ang batas? Bakit po? Dapat naka-price freeze or price control. No? So in other words, dapat paprotektahan automatically ang mga consumers dito sa, sabi nga rito, pinakamalaking price shock daw sa mga consumers ay yung pagtaas sa LPG. Hindi po ba? So Mr. Chair, yun ang concern natin. Merong malinaw na provision sa batas, nilalabag ng Malacanang, ng DOE, walang deklarasyon ng presidente, dapat may automatic price freeze. Ibig sabihin, yung presyo ng Marso, dapat na natili, nasa 1.1. Tapos nung Abril, sabi nyo, naging 1.5. Parang ganon.
Kindly wind up,
Okay.
Congressman Tino. But the question deserves an answer. Sagutin niyo naman yung tanong.
Yes po. Thank you very much po, Mr. Chair. Yes,
Wag na kayong magpasalamat. Diretso kayo parati sa
yes,
sagot.
we will consult
Yusek.
po with the concerned, kasi ang nag-i-implement talaga nun, while the advisory comes from the Department of Energy, the actual implementation po ng price freeze is on the concerned agency, like for example, the DTI. Thank you po.
Well, okay, Mr. Chair. So,
We'll give you time later. I think it's very important.
okay. So, yun lang po, yung dalawang punto, Mr. Chair, na gusto kong idiin dito. Una, yung replacement cost, hindi po yan inevitable kung hindi, it's a business model na ina-apply ng oil industry. At bentahe sila, nakakalamang sila dito dahil pinapasubsidize nila sa consumers yung pagbilisin nila ng stock. Ibang-iba po ito sa sektor ng LPG, malinaw yung paliwanag, hindi ina-apply yung replacement cost dito.
Thank you very much. We will take note of that. That's very, very important revelation.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you.
Chair.
We now call on Congressman
Opo, just,
Rufus Rodriguez
Just an
to,
interjection.
with the indulgence of Cong Rufus, let's allow Paulo. What is the pleasure of
Opo.
Congressman Marcoleta?
Mr. Chair, just want to make a remark on your earlier statement na kailangan po ang mga agencies mag-usap-usap para po mas mabilis ang trabaho. I'm supporting you on that, Mr. Chair. At if I may add also, Mr. Chair, since andito naman po tayo kahit kasagsagan ng bakasyon, Mr. Chair, dahil masipag kayo, alam ko, may I appeal on the President to request for a special session for Congress para po yung mga pending legislation natin may pasa po natin po sis. Kasi po, hindi na po makayanan ng ating mamamayan yung talagang hirap ng pasanin nila ngayon. Marami pa akong nakausap ng mga tsuper ng jeepney na nakagarahin na yung kanilang mga jeepney dahil hindi nila kayang magpagas, magpakrudo. At mga pagsasaka po na hindi na po kaya yung presyo ng fertilizer ngayon. So kailangan po natin, we should act post-haste with the maximum urgency para po maibsan po natin, mabigyan ng remedy ang ating mamamayan. Mr. Chair, just my appeal.
Thank you, Congressman Paulo. May we now call on Congressman Rufus Rodriguez from the city of Golden Friendship. Go ahead, Cong Rufus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, valued resource persons. Maing buntag. The Republic Act 12316 was approved on March 25 and published by the official gazette on the same day. Therefore, it would have been effective on April 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5 days, Mr. Chairman. This should have already been first recommended by DBCC, the Energy Department, and the President, Chair, already suspended. He has all the powers granted by Congress. And we are saying that any delay, Mr. Chairman, will make our people suffer, especially the transport sectors and everybody, because of the rise of commodity prices. So I'd like to know, did we not consider this, DOE, DBCC, and the Office of the President, that we are already 5 days not yet suspended when it could have been done April 9 for our people, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair. Wala eh.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. First, the DOE, the DBCC, and the Office of the President. We are holding all of you accountable for the suffering of the Filipino people, which is now 5 days. Can you imagine lifting 3 pesos LPG, lifting gasoline? Gasoline now is 160 to 170 per liter. I mean, diesel, 160 to 70, 110 to 120 gasoline. May we know?
Yusek Sales, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, the DOE has submitted their recommendation on the suspension of the excise tax. We had meetings at the Office of the Executive Secretary since 1.5 weeks ago, sir. 1 week ago.
Mr. Chair.
Can we hear first from any representative from the DBCC? The DOF sits as the chairman of the DBCC. Go ahead, Yusek.
Your Honor, the DBCC has already submitted the recommendation even before the effectivity of the law to the Office of the President.
Mr. Chairman, so therefore you are saying that the President is at fault why we still don't have this suspension. 5 days now, Mr. Chairman. DBCC, Energy.
Can you answer that question, Yusek? Go ahead. Can you state, I cannot read your name, Yusek, my apologies. Ligon. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Rolando Ligon po.
When did the law become effective?
April 9 po. Then, just to ano lang po, sir, DBCC is chaired by the DBM, not by DOF.
Do we have a representative from DBM? Who is from the DBM here, please? Yes, go ahead, ma'am. State your name for the record.
Yes, good morning. I'm Mary Ann de la Vega, and I represent the DBM in behalf of Acting Secretary.
Yusek de la Vega, correct? Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Mr. Chair, we have already provided the recommendation to the Office of the President as far as the DBCC is concerned. I think that was 2 weeks ago.
So what is happening, ma'am?
Mr. Chair, we will abide by what's the final decision of the Office of the President because we have already given the scenarios as well as the options that can be adopted as far as the suspension of the excess tax is concerned.
Would you know when the announcement is going to be made?
We are not privy to that, Mr. Chair.
Informally, what do you hear? I mean, you're working in those circles, so what is the impression that we get?
Mr. Chair, based on the last meeting last week, the President is supposed to make the announcement within this week.
Go ahead, Kong Rufus.
Next question. On biofuels. We have already the Congress, through our very energetic Ways and Means Chairman, Congressman Chairman Miro, already approved House Bill 8469, amending the Biofuels Act of 2006, which would mean, and this is now in the uplift also, that this will allow the importation, one-year importation of biofuel components, bioethanol and biodiesel, if blended gasoline or diesel prices exceed pure fuels in the Philippines by at least 5%. May we know what is the action now of DOE on this? Is there any action? Because the Senate is at fault here. It has not acted on this, correct?
Well, Mr. Chair, under the present law, there's no allowance to import the biodiesel. We should use only indigenous feedstock in the biodiesel production. In the ethanol side, there's allowance if the domestic supply is insufficient, then importation is allowed for the ethanol side.
And what is the problem? There is no bill yet to be signed by the President because of the Senate. Let me tell you that practically Indonesia is using biofuels. And it's very cheap there. Very much cheaper than what we have here. And so therefore, according to our bill of the House, the ever-active House of Representatives, it provides that the President, upon the recommendation of the NBB and the DOE, may suspend the mandatory use of locally sourced biofuels through an executive order for a period not longer than 1 year if the prices for blended gasoline and or diesel engine fuels are at least 5% higher compared to pure gasoline and or diesel fuels. Have you not recommended to the Senate to be able to act on this?
I think the recommendation of DOE was to allow the importation of for a limited period with the price subject to pricing consideration.
Because Indonesian biofuels is very, very cheap compared to ours, and it could help in our mix. I would agree, Mr. Chairman, that the President calls now a special session because Senate has failed to enact this bill on biofuels. It can help so much in our mix to lessen the price of our fuel in the Philippines. Last point, Mr. Chairman. We are now at 3:44, 3 minutes and 48 seconds. My last point is this, to the DepEd. I saw the uplift program here. There is no recommendation on lowering the expanded value-added tax by 2%. We are now thinking on how to be able, at least at this time, help our people. We are helping our people through Ayuda. Congressman Rufus asked the SWD, our Secretary Rex, 3,000 for all the transport sector, habal-habal, motorela, taxi, bao-bao, jeepney and buses. 3,000, then 5,000 from the SW itself, and the city government, 2,000. This will not go too far to help our people, but if we also recommend that we just lessen the expanded, get the expanded out of VAT to become 10%, we can help our people at this time only until 80 pesos, until the price of barrel is $80 and below. May we know the answer, Mr. Chairman? From the DepEd
Can
and
we hear
from the DOE.
go ahead, Yusek Capuno.
Yes, we are carefully balancing the needs of the government to raise revenues and provide assistance to our people. So we favor, DepEd is favoring targeted subsidies rather than uniform reduction in VAT that will benefit undoubtedly not only the vulnerable segment of our population, but everybody else. But that will lose the ability of the government to raise a lot of revenues needed to support those subsidies, Mr. Chair. So we are in that situation right now. Targeted subsidies rather than uniform reduction in taxes that will compromise our ability to raise revenues to support those subsidies.
Very disappointed, Mr. Chairman, because we need to already address the pressing problems of our people because of this emergency, energy emergency. So just go back to 10%. And then when everything will go normalized below $80 per barrel, then we resume the EVAT. But now, VAT lang muna. Now, we know the answer, Mr. Chairman of the Department of, who else? Who else would like to answer?
Can we hear as a last from Yusek Ligon? Are you in fact even considering something that we raised at the last hearing? At the very least, a suspension of the VAT on petroleum. Is that something that the DOF is open to discuss or decide on?
Your Honor, we have actually studied we're studying of doing removing the value-added tax or reducing it to a lesser rate to alleviate yung mga paghihirap ng ating kababayan. Unfortunately po, right now, we want to manage the 2 trillion deficit, program deficit for 2026. And the effect of removing the value-added tax on petroleum products is around 120 billion pesos. So we're trying to manage our program deficit. Kaya po medyo nahihirapan po kaming i-consider po. So actually po...
Kong Rufus, please wrap up. Go ahead with your last question.
This will now be an appeal, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, we appeal to the President to immediately today suspend the excise tax on petroleum products. Secondly, we also propose that there will be a suspension on the VAT on petroleum to lessen it from 12 to 10. Yan lang. Just that. So not to remove it, just suspending, just reducing from 12 to 10. And finally, Mr. Chairman, that we have a joint session because this will result to the Bayanihan 3. We have Bayanihan 1, Bayanihan to heal as one, Bayanihan, that's Bayanihan 1, Bayanihan 2 during the COVID-19, Bayanihan 2, Bayanihan to recover as one, and now we need more legislation to be able to address the present problem facing us, which will be there, I think, for the next 3 to 6 months. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Thank you very much.